This is my New Year's resolution. I'm no longer paying people for time. I'm paying them for results.
The whole purpose of this show is to engage with business owners and be able to answer questions for people that will give them some insight and perspective on how to grow and scale a business. Not only leadership, but real life examples. This is the golden moment. I would do business with you right now.
Hello, all right. Hey, everybody.
Welcome to 2022. Sorry, go ahead. I got excited seeing all your faces. Look, there's AJ, there's Mike, there's Eugene, there's Joe. We see Miriam and Alex, Eric. It's just so great to see you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Welcome to 2022. This is going to be the biggest year of your life, should you choose it to be the biggest year of your life. This is my New Year's resolution. I'm no longer paying people for time. I'm paying them for results. The number one biggest mistake business owners make is they hire people to do a function and they want to pay them a paycheck. Start telling people you're hiring them to get results, and then show them how to get those results. That's my New Year's resolution, is that going forward, every person I hire, I remind them I'm not hiring them for their time, I'm hiring them for their results. You will find that 2022 will be the biggest year of your life. And if you're working for somebody, ask them what results you need to get to hit your income target.
What a good question. Will you say that question again?
Ask them which results you need to get to hit your income target.
Man, normally we just like introduce ourselves.
I know, we're going right into it. You know what? I'm so ready for 2022. I am ready. I am ready. I'm ready. I've had enough time off. 2021 was remarkable. We're going to 10X 2022, and we're going to do it with each one of you. We're so excited to see you guys.
Brandon, I gave a stat just before you joined. 82% of people do this. In the first 90 days, they fail their resolution. Many of you got that right in the chat. They fail on their goals in the first 90 days. It's wild. Why do you think, Brandon, the average entrepreneur fails in the first 90 days?
Lack of commitment. You know, belief is the catalyst to everything, right? So if you all of a sudden stake a claim, but you don't actually fundamentally believe it, you won't put the energy into it. And when you don't put the energy into it, you don't get the results. When you don't get the results, you lower your belief about what's possible, and you start looking for excuses. You start looking for outside reasons for why you can't hit your goals, and you start looking to defer, deflect, and blame everything going on around you, because now you can organize and rationalize in your mind why it's okay that you're not hitting the goals that you established for yourself at the end of the year for the new year. And Brandon, your goals weren't big enough. That's the number one thing, is your goals weren't big enough.
What does an outside excuse sound like? What is that?
COVID. Oh, COVID. Outside excuse is my employees. They don't work hard enough. Outside excuses, can't get a loan from the bank. Outside excuses, you don't know my market and my competitors, and they're making it so hard on me. Outside excuses, supply chain logistics. All of a sudden it's the external reasons you can't succeed.
See, I'm a little nicer when it comes to people and goal setting. Like Brandon and I have we're very similar, but we have different perspectives. I think that it's because it's hard to actually make a change. Like it is, if goals were easy, everybody would be billionaires going and doing whatever they want. They likely wouldn't be working. Like, let's be real. Goals are very difficult to get to where you want to grow, to either start a business or to have a $1 million business when you had 500,000 revenue last year, or 10 million next year when you had one. Like, it's difficult to do that. And so a reason that I think people fail is not because they have bad intentions or they're even making up those excuses consciously. I actually think it's because of low accountability. And I even see this, from like a human to human level in my own life. Like whenever I have a very high belief that I believe in myself. I know if you're on this call on a Tuesday night, on the first Tuesday of the year, that you believe in yourself, but there's like this thing, this missing piece. And for me, it's always accountability. Like I'm not really accountable to the change to grow. And even in these last 4 days, what is it? It's January 4th. I made a bet with a group of girls that we would work out for 45 minutes every single day this year. And I first thought it was $10,000 for the year, which to me sounded like a lot of money. We put $10,000 down for the year. If we missed a day, we had to pay the group $10,000. Well, I got the bet parameters wrong. Turns out it's $10,000 a quarter. So I actually have $40,000 on this bet that I've placed. And even though I felt like crap on the first day of the year and the second day of the year.
That's true. She was taking medication and she still
Brandon's
wouldn't
like,
work
you
out.
need to not work out. He told me not, guys.
Well, I said you got to look at the rules. There has to be provision if you're sick.
He told me not to work out. It's like you're pushing yourself too hard. And I was like, you know what? Not only it wasn't the commitment, it's that I was being held accountable by something bigger than me. $40,000 felt very big. So it's like, what can you put on the line? And for many of you with your businesses, you don't put on the line that you're sacrificing real things like your legacy or real things like the impact that you want to make or your ability to create generational wealth. Like you're not tying that accountability piece to the change that you have to make today to make the investments that you need to be accountable to make a change.
She started by saying she's a lot easier on people than I am. You notice that's how she segued into saying the same thing I said, which is your belief gets lowered when you don't have operational effectiveness. When you're not actually committed to it, you lower your belief. And when you lower your belief, you lower your leadership.
Hey, that's why I said that we're saying the same thing.
But you tried to say what I said more eloquently. See, she's smarter than me. Use better words.
The first argument of 2022. We're all here for it.
Big one.
So good. Hey, so Natalie, you talked about how hard it is to change as one of the reasons people fail. Would you also talk a little bit about organization? And people, I think they just throw out into the ethers like, this is my goal, but then they don't really organize anything around it. So is there something, I know you're like the process organization queen, especially at Cardone Ventures. What should people be thinking about as they put together an actual goal?
I think targets become really important. Like you can have a goal next year. How many of you guys put in the chat what your revenue goal is or your income goal for next year? Like that's a big goal. Put the goal number in the chat. This is how I break things down, right? So I see 3 million, 20 million, 1.4 million, 250K, 50 million, 2 million. Okay, love these numbers. These are goals. In order to hit a goal, you have to have targets of how you're going to get there. And so for you, now that you have this big goal, it's what are the individual targets that drive the activity to get to this goal? And then how do you make it so visible in your surroundings, like literally in front of you I'm even doing this in my own office. Like I'm putting a vision board together with the goals of Cardone Ventures, my personal goals, my professional goals, my financial goals, so that I see it. You need to have these targets around you as visual reminders. Now, in a business, you might not want to put your personal vision board in front of your full team, but that looks like, okay, this quarter, what are the targets for you to get to this massive goal that have to be achieved? And how are you looking at that every single week? And ideally driving the activity today to get to your week's target, that's going to get to your month's target, that's going to get to your quarter, that's going to make this the best year of your life.
I just had this conversation. So this guy comes to our 360, great dude, comes to our 360, platforms with us, goes from 1.2 million to 2.5 million.
Heyo.
Converted his income from $350,000 of personal income, personal production income, to this year he pivoted to $350,000 of income produced by the other new employees based on what he learned at the 10X 360 with the rule of 3 and the strategy for platform. Then he had an opportunity to move into our SBU where we're running the business. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to make 900 grand next year. So let me recover some of that money and I'll go in the SBU later. And so I jumped on a call with our team and I said, let me ask you a question. What's your platform say you can do in revenue in 5 years? And he said, 25 million. I said, why are you giving up $200,000 to get to 25 million? And he goes, that sounds so dumb. I'm all in. Let's move forward. Because sometimes what happens is, and I said, you know what happens was when you have the kind of success you had, you think it's going to just keep happening. But he made the first pivot, which was personal production to team production. The next pivot is to replicate that 9 times over so he can get to 25 million using the rule of 3. And if he's thinking of equity value at $25 million, making 10 million a year, not paying 200 grand a year seems a little bit dumb. And after framing it and asking the question, he's like, I'm all in. You're right. I was thinking way too small. The other mistake people make is if you set a target of 30 pounds and you lose 20, you give up. You're like, I'm good at 20.
So true.
She watches me do this. I do this like 4 times a year. Like my weight is the one thing. And so all of a sudden
how many, maybe you don't have to put this in the chat, but like how many of you can relate? You can either like nod your head or just like rhetorical question, can relate to that, where it's like, okay, I go up, but then I go down. And because I'm not fully there, it makes me discouraged. So I'm just going to like, let it all go. We do this in our businesses all the time. Congratulations, Jeff, 39
That's awesome. It's awesome. So for me, what I do is like, I ended the year, I told her,
He's a freak.
I told her on Saturday, I said, okay, I just violated the last month of my rules. I got to rediscipline myself. I'm finishing a 3-day no food fast, only water.
He doesn't eat for 3
And
days.
so what happens is I reset my body and also reset my mind, because I want to be in control of both my mind and my body, right? So I'm going to go on this run, no alcohol, working out, getting back to my intermittent fasting. And by GrowthCon, I'll be lean and I'll be in fighting shape. But the thing is like, I have to consciously trigger into that. And the way I do that is I go into the 3-day or 4-day fasting. By the way, I am, as Grant would say, a little bitch when I'm fasting.
Oh my gosh.
I'm angry. I'm mad at the world. I'm snappy. I'm snippy.
I see you couples in business laughing with each other and looking at, you can only, the last 3 days have been quite the process.
And you know why it works so? Because she and everybody on the team, they know what I'm going through. They know what I'm going through, and they make fun of it and they laugh about it. And they're like, Brandon's on his fast because he's in a pissy mood. The thing is that when you give permission to your partners to be who you got to be in order to keep and maintain control of your goals, then it's okay to not always be perfect and flawless. And I think that the important thing is
that you're perfect and flawless.
it's okay to not always be perfect and flawless. Here's the whole point here. When you set your goals, you do not concede them. You continue to go after them until you hit them, because it's in the concession that you actually emotionally and psychologically lose. Because once you concede it and you relax, you justify it. And it's in the justification of failure that causes you to repeat failure.
Well, I love what Johnny just said. If you never quit, you will never fail. So in the vein of full transparency, one of my goals this year is actually the same freaking goal I had last year, which was like, I said to Brandon, January of last year, January 1st and 2nd, this year we are blowing up on TikTok. I literally said this to him. I'm like, we are blowing up. TikTok's the platform. We're going to post 2 or 3 times a day.
We as in her.
Well, yeah, but there's some dances on there. Brandon dancing the wall.
She's making me do things I don't want.
Reluctantly, but he does
it. For promoting. Stop. Thank you. Oh, he squeezes this pen. Anyway.
I love somebody asked, are we going to get the Q&A today?
Yes, we are.
Eventually.
However, I think this is important. Last year I set this goal. It's like we were blowing up on TikTok. I was one of those people that within day 30, probably day 16 to what the previous comment was, I had one TikTok that I had 6,000 views. All the rest of them had like 100. And it so frustrated me that the one that had 6,000 views, I put so little energy and attention on. And so what did I do? I gave up. I'm like, screw this. This thing is stupid. Well, lo and behold, I pay this company to help me with my content, and they continued to post one-off TikToks. And I woke up on January with my phone exploding. I went from 1,000 followers on TikTok to 17,000 followers almost overnight because of one TikTok. And it's a reminder of, even though I totally quit. I gave up on the goal. It was stupid of me to give up on the goal, but I did. There was still something in the environment that was keeping that going. And it just took one thing to get me excited about going after my target again. And since then, I'm like, how do I go after this target? The point with this is, how do you set the goal? The goal is to blow up. Now, did I blow up? Did I say we? Did I blow up? No. But now I'm back re-engaged because I have specific targets to keep me excited about the energy and the work and the change that is required in order to take myself to the next level to be able to have growth in this area. So how do you, in the beginning of 2021 or 2022, it's not too late, even though we're 4 days in, you could do this at any point throughout the year. But today, like, how do you decide what is the goal? How do I attach something so meaningful that I don't give up, and then set targets backwards to say, okay, what does progress look like so that I know I'm on the right path, so that I can have small wins that keep me engaged and excited enough to keep saying, I'm going to go do this thing because it's important to me. But those targets and those small wins are the game changer.
So I'm curious, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to grade the goals you set for yourself last year when the clock ticked over, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is you didn't accomplish your goals at all. 10 is you accomplished everything you set. Put in there how close you were to the goals that you established.
We're going fast. 6, 5.
Yeah, I see a lot, and I see a lot of low scores. Hey, I just want to tell you, who cares, man? Because it is a new year. If you scored yourself low, you just need to identify what you did not commit to in order to hit your goals. If you scored yourself too high, you have to ask yourself why you were shooting too low.
Or even Barbara saying, not all of them, but my big one. Like, how do you prioritize the big ones versus hitting some of the goals that aren't really that important, but you miss the main thing? The main thing should be what makes you money, or what makes the impact that is so important.
Well, you should have your personal, professional, financial goals, and they should be interconnected.
See, like, this is how I assess Brandon, and how, like, even in our relationship, we push each other. If Brandon is up 15 pounds, but our business is screaming and he is spending so much time and energy focused on that, that one of these other goals kind of falls off a little bit, I am so good with the preference being of the bigger goal, because you're keeping the main thing the main thing. It's when you let go of the main thing and then you're strong in this other area, but it's a faulty strength because it's not really based on the right foundation. The right foundation should be what makes you money that allows everything else. You have more access to do the other things that you're looking to set goals around.
Yeah, that's up until she said, honey, you're getting chubby.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So the thing is, she'll tolerate it for a certain level.
Very direct.
And you know, when I look at what Grant does, Grant's routine and Elena's routine, they're such a great example, because I don't dare go back and see Grant after not seeing him for 3 weeks and look pudgy, because he will ride my ass until I am in the gym 5 hours a day. Because
I'm
preempting the conversation because I know it'll happen. So
Grant's quote is, "You don't need a nice gym, you need any gym."
Any gym. All right, so Buck, let's open it up to some questions.
You know what I'm going to have you guys do really quickly? I'm going to have you walk across the hall. The studio's ready. I'd like to get your Q&A in the studio. And
Good.
while you both walk across the hall, 2 things. Number 1, the Natalie Dawson is the TikTok. If you want to follow Natalie, the Natalie Dawson. It is a great TikTok. Number 2, really quickly, this is a special treat for tonight only, because so many of you have shown up to this amazing 10X Owners Live to set big goals. We're going to offer you an ability to set bigger and better goals. If you've never heard of the People Essentials Workshop, there's one coming up right around the corner. I'm going to show you a very special offer for tonight only. You literally need to call in right now if you want the People Essentials Workshop, where it really talks about building your goals, building your team's goals, how to structure those teams and build and fortify amazing teams in your business. This is a $4,997 program tonight only. When you call 503-536-0997, we will include your choice, a free business boot camp ticket or an exclusive 10X Ladies executive ticket. Choose your add-on. Choose the boot camp or the 10X Ladies. You need the people alignment, the people goal setting anyway. So you might as well add on, supercharge your 2022 by taking advantage of this offer to come to hear Natalie and the rest of the team talk about how to build the perfect team. Gary, the answer is yes. I see you negotiating there. The answer is yes, we can do it. The answer is yes, we're going to commit. The answer is, if I'm going to hit my goals, I need somebody like Natalie and Brandon to do it with me. So make the decision. Go ahead and write this number down, 503-536-0997. The offer ends tonight. Literally tomorrow, you call that number. We're going to say you can't get the add-on. You can't get the ladies ticket. By the way, big special announcement. Thank you, Bryce, for putting that up. Big announcement, 10X Ladies, which is coming next month. Natalie Dawson will be speaking at 10X Ladies. Give me a 10X if you're excited about hearing Natalie Dawson at 10X Ladies. How amazing is that? So again, one more time, how many of you in the chat would like to set bigger goals in 2022? How many of you would like to do that? Put 10X in the chat. Yeah, Christina, Sherry, Danielle, Grace, David, Amy. Yeah, of course you do. So the question is, if $4,997 was the difference between you setting those goals and you not setting those goals, does that sound like a smart decision to invest in coming to the People's Essentials Workshop? True or false? 10X, of course, Lee, no question. So why not make the commitment tonight and get that bonus add-on with the boot camp ticket or the 10X Ladies ticket? The next question you really have to ask yourself is, which add-on do you want? Do you want the boot camp or the 10X Ladies? It's a tough call. It's a tough call. So we're going to do Q&A. If you've never come to a 10X Owners Live, I see a lot of new faces here. A lot of new faces. If you've never been here, this is the way it works. Down at the bottom, do you see that little smiley face in your control panel? Says reactions.
Yeah.
Click on that and then raise hand. That's how you get to ask your questions. Private coaching with Brandon and Natalie is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. But tonight, every Tuesday, you get an opportunity to break through for just a moment and ask that personal question that you need. So Brandon, Natalie, are you guys ready to roll?
Yeah, we're here, Buck. We're live in the studio. How's our? Can everybody hear us? If you can hear us,
We're going to talk at the same time.
You sound great. Natalie sounds good. Brandon, you were a little loud, but you sound good now. I think they got you adjusted.
1 2 1 2. Hello.
Hey,
Yeah.
I want to congratulate Craig. He was the first person to take advantage of the offer tonight. Craig, congratulations. He just picked up his People Essentials Workshop. The question is, Craig, which bonus did you choose? The 10X Ladies ticket or the boot camp ticket, 10X Business Boot Camp? That's the question.
I had an hour-long conversation with the one and only Elena Cardone yesterday, and the intentionality and the fire that she is bringing in the form of speakers, but also she is just one of the most incredible human beings on the planet. This event is going to be a game changer, and one of her intentions for this event is to talk about what risks people need to be taking in 2022. And risks also start with, okay, your relationship. Like, oftentimes when Brandon and I are struggling with something, it's like, who's willing to be risky and potentially have either me not agree or him not agree with the direction, but still take a risk in order for the betterment of whatever aspect of our life we're targeting. And so that event is going to be absolutely incredible. And then the People Essentials Workshop, this is the only one happening in 2022. We have it this weekend in Scottsdale, Arizona on Saturday and Sunday. You get to spend 2 full days with me talking through recruitment strategies and how to navigate a virtual or remote or hybrid work environments, how you attract new team members, how you fire team members. And I go through how we do this at Cardone Ventures and have managed to go from 0 team members 2.5 years ago to having 85 and doing almost closing last year with 40 million in revenue. So if you want to learn all of those tips and have real one-on-one time this weekend, the People Essentials is the event to come to.
I mean, look, massively growing and scaling can only happen through people. I mean, even if you're a tech company, you need people to write the code and develop the wireframes and to sell the product. And so there's no such thing as a business that's been massively successful with just one person doing it. So this right now on the schedule, this is our only 10X People Essentials. Sorry.
That a little nudge.
I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching the changing of the. So we're in our new studio. We're still working out the whole studio thing and sizing and
Looks pretty good,
so that
huh?
looks pretty good. Put
You
a
look and
thumbs
sound
up.
great. You
The-
look and
the-
sound great.
Put a thumbs up. How's
Put a
that? All right,
thumbs up.
I'm just kidding. Let's take some questions, Buck.
All right, let's jump in with Jesse. We're going to kick off 2022 with Jesse. Go for it, Jesse. Welcome to 10X Owners Live. What's your question?
Hello, happy to be here, so excited. And we're talking about setting goals for this year. And for me, it has been kind of difficult to allow myself to grow faster than I think it is possible. And my question is exactly there. What do you suggest what can I do to start thinking bigger than what I think I can achieve? I don't know if I understand.
Was the question how to think bigger so
Yeah.
that you can achieve
How
more?
can she start thinking bigger? That's exactly it.
Yeah, you know, I always say you got to start with the granular thing, right? Like whatever your income was this year, write down that number. Everybody on here right now, whatever you made for income this year, write it down. Like if you made $10,000, write $10,000. You made 100 grand, write 100 grand. You made 50 grand, write 50 grand. You made $1 million, write $1 million. However much you made. Now ask yourself, how much do you want to make? Because people tend to overcomplicate things. So the first thing is, if I made 50 and I want to make 250, I need to do 5x what I did to get to the 50. So now if I work for somebody, I need to go to that person and say, if I had a goal of making $250,000, what would I have to contribute to the business? What would I have to add value? Where would I have to add value in order for me to be worth the business paying me $250,000? If I own my own business and I make $50,000, I have to ask the question, what do I need to do to make $250,000 if that's my goal? And I have to reverse engineer what allowed me to make 50. And then I got to take an honest assessment. Was I all in? Am I working smarter, not harder? Am I being stubborn? Am I being afraid? Am I prospecting enough? Am I making enough phone calls? If I'm making 10 phone calls a day, I got to make 100 phone calls today if I want to go from 50 to 500. You need to 10x your activity, 10x your commitment, 10x your results. And the thing is if you're sitting there thinking about it and you're like, well, I'm thinking about it. Anytime anybody has spent this year thinking about doing something, next year or this year, take action in that moment. Don't think about it. Like, I want to make more money. I need a client that's going to spend more money with me. All right, I'm going to pick up the phone. I'm going to go to my phone calls. I'm going to go and I'm just going to randomly pick a name. And that name doesn't exist anymore. I'm just going to randomly pick a name and say, hey, it's Brandon Dawson, Cardinal Ventures. You and I were talking about doing business together a year ago. For whatever reason, we didn't move forward. I made a commitment to myself to reach out to everyone I didn't do business with. And I need to find a way that we can do business together to impact each other's lives. What would that look like? Make 100 of those phone calls tomorrow. Increase your activity. Quit thinking so much. Get results. So what you need to do is whatever that goal was or whatever that amount is you actually did, then now, so write down how much you actually made and then in an honest scoring on a scale of 1 to 10. How committed, how much energy, how much effort, be honest with yourself. Did you let fear take over? Did you take a few days off? Did you make a few less phone calls because it was uncomfortable? Did you prospect a little less? Did you promote a little less? Did you put your little promotions out every single day? Did you call your 100 number? Like be completely honest and score yourself. There you go. Here's a 5. Here's a 5. Here's a 4.
3, 4, 4, 4. Lots of 4s.
So lots of 4s.
5,
Okay,
7.
so here's the thing. If you're a 4, 5, or 6, you double that, you double your income.
Mhm.
But it's actually a multiplier. Instead of doubling it, you're going to triple it or quadruple it, because the more you do, the more efficient you get, the faster you go, the more you do, the bigger the result.
Oh,
At
it says
some
Brandon's sound is going away. Can you guys can you hear him?
It's back
2,
now.
1,
Yep.
2.
They were just
Oh,
trying
it's
to
back.
adjust
Okay.
it. Yep.
Got it. You're
All right,
back.
come on, what are we playing with my sound for? Oh,
Oh.
because I was yelling.
That's why.
That's why I get aggressive.
Take a breath.
Okay, you ready for the next question?
Yeah, I hope I answered the question for everybody. And yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Brian, I hope you brought some red wine for the rest of us. You're up next, buddy. Welcome to 10X Owners Live.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Great.
Great.
So
What's your
great.
question?
Good. So I had a question for you about, actually, I know Brandon uses this 10X planner, Grant's 10X planner. And as far as the goals go, I know he wants us to write down our big goals, not this year's goals, but like our ultimate goals. But as far as like the targets and things go, are you re-looking at trying to break down our daily targets, our monthly targets, our quarterly targets? Like, how do you guys structure your big goals down to your granular goals?
What business are you in?
I own two businesses. I have a mobile auto detailing company that does $250 a year. And then I have a house cleaning company that's a startup that uses contractors, kind of like Uber.
Okay, so let's use a mobile car company, cleaning company. How many cars did you clean to make 250?
Yeah, so that would be about 40 cars a month.
Okay.
So
Okay, so what
I
do
don't-
you need to do to take it to 100 cars a month?
hire more people.
Okay, so how much? So you got to move from a personal production to an override production. So it usually takes 3 to 5 people to replace one person's personal production.
Mhm.
Okay, so now you say, okay, if the big challenge, and you guys should have fun with this, by the way, if the big challenge is to go from 250 to 1 million,
Mhm.
then because what happens is people start doing disconnected businesses. Now, in your particular case, if you're cleaning people's cars, they could also become your clients for the other business, but it's still disconnected because now you're running around trying to fix that business and start it instead of taking the business you have and 10Xing it. So now you got to ask yourself, how are you getting to those cars? Do you have mobile services? Do you have trucks that have water programs built into them with sprayers? And then how many trucks do you need? And then can you get cars to come to you? Can you pick cars up and drop them off if they're in certain proximity? Like, you got to start looking at scaling the business, becoming more efficient, working harder, working smarter, not harder. And then you got to start bringing people into the equation, the rule of 3. And so now your goal this year is to take 3 other people and each get them to 250. And then how much did you make on the 250? 150 grand?
Yeah, probably about that or a little less. So.
Okay, so now you're going to show them how they can make 75 or 85 grand, and you're going to make 65,000 off of their production.
Mhm.
And now you need to pivot to how do you have 10 people all doing $250,000 a year, and you go from making 150 in personal production to making 50 to 75,000 off of their production, and now you go to take your income from 150 of personal production to $500,000 of group production.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to make that pivot. Otherwise, you get stuck. Now, what you just did is you just disconnected from that business and you're running around starting another business. Now you got to do that twice with 2 different businesses, but it's hard starting a new business and being on top of the details because you can't find the algorithm for speeding things up and making it faster. And then who can you get contracts with? Instead of going to an individual, if you came to my business right now and you walked in here and you said, hey, I do custom car cleaning, you would only get my cars, you'd get Natalie's car, you'd get Buck's car, you all of a sudden you're getting Josh's car, you're starting to get 10 or 15 or 20 cars. So now you can show up with 2 people and you and knock out 20 cars in a day versus you by yourself doing 3.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you got to look at volume and you also got to raise your prices.
And for those of you who have revenue targets this year, one of the first things that we do, and this is something that I go into extensively in the People Essentials workshop, is, okay, we have this revenue target and we're in your case, you're doing 40 cars a month. If the target does move to 400 cars a month, how many people do we need in order to move from 40 to 400? Because ideally it's not 10 more people. You're not multiplying because ideally you're getting more efficient, or there's additional upsells. Like, there's different things in your business model that you can leverage to create that growth. It's not just about the people, but you have to then find people who are willing to at least do the 50 car or the 40 cars a month, while also training them and developing them on these new different offerings, so that then they can go and add additional lines of revenue to the business and not just be stuck at 40 cars a month, or else then you're not really building a scalable business. You're just building the same duplicated process over and over again.
That makes sense.
This is what we teach in the 10X 360 and our scale up programs. is the rule of 3. It's how to go from 1 to multiplying it 3 times, and then go from 3 to multiplying it 3 times again to 9, and then from 9 to 27. When you get to 27, all hitting your top targets, I mean, in your case, you'd have 27 people doing $250,000. All of a sudden now you've got a $10 million business basically. And the deal is, you're also teaching other people how to make money and replicating and duplicating what you're doing. And people would say, well, how do you control all that in one town? Well, you don't. You recruit people and tell them you're going to go to 10 towns, but they have to prove themselves with you first and build a team. And then they disconnect from that team and they take your IP and they do it again in another town. And now you get 25, 30% of them doing it with 30 other people. The goal for me, if I had a car cleaning business, was how do I have 50 cities, and in 50 cities, how do I have 50 different teams that are generating $5 million a city? So I'm doing 20 or 50 times 5 is $250 million. And how do I make 20 million while I create wealth for everybody else? Like, I would never think linearly, like just one thing. I would always start with, how do I have 250 and work backwards? I have to tell my team this too when they bring me a problem. I'm like, this is not a problem. A problem is if we had 250 people all in here with the same issue. The opportunity you have is to solve it now so we don't have that, and that makes you more valuable to the organization. So telling me what the problems are doesn't do anybody any good, because I already know there's problems. Coming to me with 3 solutions on how to improve on the situation so we can get bigger is a problem solver. I don't need geniuses to point out problems that we all know exist. I need people to point out solutions that they think would solve the problem. And you got to train people to start thinking that way, because people are actually trained in this country to think they're being compensated for time. And that's going to be my big, I started the call with this. I am no longer compensating people for time. I'm compensating them for results. You want to work 20 hours a day? I'm going to pay you for it. You want to work 3 hours a day? I'm going to pay you for it. But you're going to be paid commensurate with your what's the word? Commensurate with, I need smart people.
Linearly.
That's not really a word. I made that up.
Word,
I wanted to
let it
sound
slide.
like, I didn't go to London School of Economics.
We all let it
like
slide.
some
no,
people.
no one called you out on the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. But the point is, you guys got to learn to start thinking bigger. You get so frustrated with your little problems and you start talking about them. Whatever you think about, whatever you talk about, you'll find more of. So if when you encounter an issue, if you go, haha, this is awesome, because if I solve this, this gets me to 250 times bigger. How you view your obstacles will dictate the results that you get. I want more problems. I want more issues. When someone brings me, oh, we got a problem, I'm like, this is awesome. We got a client pissed off. That's amazing. Let's solve that one client's issue so we never have another pissed off client.
What's the fasting version of Brandon's response? I'd love to have you interact or react what that looks like.
Which one?
Is it that same excitement
When somebody comes to me with a problem?
when you're fasting? Because that's like your non-fasting response.
Well, I am fasting though. People can see me.
I
for
will,
who
I
am.
will, I will say that this fasting session has been quite pleasant. Like, I've been surprised. Like, Brandon has been.
You know why,
very
Buck? Because
disciplined.
I had mentally told myself for a week,
You're
you
preparing.
need to take back control of yourself. And so I just like, I'm so thrilled that I'm doing it, because I was so disappointed with the last 10 days of the month, being sick and lazy and eating and drinking and, you know, getting distracted and placating to
Meanwhile-
Natalie's Christmas presents,
Meanwhile,
trying to find
while
a shop
your
for
wife
Natalie.
is in the gym every day.
She crushed
eating
it.
healthy.
She crushed it.
It's just
She
a
crushed it. This
reminder.
is
It's a
why you
daily
need good
reminder.
partners. This is why Natalie is such a remarkable partner. This is why Grant and Elena are such remarkable partners, because I know he is going to give me shit and it's going to agitate me. It's going to irritate me. He texted me while I was on vacation. Hey, I've been in the gym every day. What about you? Question mark. He already knew the answer.
Did you respond?
No, I blew him off. But the point is, you need good partners,
Yeah,
right?
You do. You
And-
need people who are going to call you on your shit, and most people in our society aren't willing to do that. That's why that piece with talking about Elena's theme for like risk takers, it's a risky thing in a business partnership for one of the partners to call the other partner out on gaining a couple pounds. Like, think about that. How many of you would feel comfortable with your business partner or with any of your personal partners or partner, whatever your preference is on that, calling them out for gaining weight. Like that's not normal. It's a risk, but it's a risk that you're willing to take when you're all going after the same thing and there's alignment and there's goals and it's good for you.
It's just like me calling out somebody here at the office. They're telling me, oh, I want to make more money or I want to have a promotion. It's like bullshit. You don't really want that. You want me to give it to you, but you don't really want it.
Yeah.
Because if you really wanted it,
The activity would be
then
different.
the activity and the results would be different.
Anyway,
All right,
All right.
so let's get to another question.
More questions coming through. For those of you that are new, we're hitting record numbers. 633 of you are here tonight.
welcome.
Welcome all the new people. This is
Welcome.
awesome.
We are
If
so
you've-
happy to have you here.
We'll see what kind of commitment you have if you stay with us for the next 52 weeks.
We'll be
Ooh,
here.
82% of you might make a different decision. Let's see which ones stay on top. So if you've never been here, if you're going to ask a question,
Have
we
to be
just
here.
ask one thing. Put your camera on. Put your camera on, and then we'll call on you when your camera's on. So let's run over to Chelsea. Oh, really quick, Chelsea, before we go to your question, I want to congratulate Christina in Tampa has signed up for the People Essentials this coming weekend. She chose 10X Lady. She will be with you in Miami, Natalie, to see you
So
speaking
good.
with Elena Cardone. And then Rob Martin in Pennsylvania has a $2 million carpet cleaning business. He has made the commitment. He wants to blow his goals up in 2022. He will
Let's
see you this
go.
weekend at the People Essentials Workshop. It is
Awesome.
not too late. Let's run over to Chelsea. Chelsea, welcome to 10X Owners Live.
Thank you so much. We certainly appreciate everybody's time tonight.
Absolutely.
How's it
How can
going?
we help you?
Hey, we got a quick question. I'm going to jump in. I'm Chelsea's husband. We're a team as well. So
Love
check it
it.
out. Question for anybody on here, actually, but Brandon and Natalie. We're in a position where we've been in the business for about a year and a half. Kind of tired of running it like a mom and pop. We're ready to scale, blow it up, get to where we need to be, help our community, all that good stuff. So my question is, we don't have any loans on this. We're not bringing in investors on the startup. And my question is, should we be focused on hiring people first? We've got a handful. We've got 3 team members. Should we be focused on continuing to expand that to the 6 or the 9? Or should we focus on maybe getting an office to be able to pour more and manage better on the 3 that we have?
Yeah, so here's the question. What kind of business is it?
It's a smart home security business. We're a Brinks authorized dealer.
Okay, so
But we do everything over the phone, everything over the phone. So it's not your standard door to door. We call agents, we partner with them, then we close new homeowners all over the phone.
Okay, so first and foremost, what is the most production? Anybody that's new to this, I talk about the statistics of thousands of businesses that we benchmark against. You have to have a business that's profitable, that can generate equity value, needs to be able to do between $250,000 and $500,000 of revenue per employee. So how big is your business right now?
Last year we did just over 300.
Okay, good for you. And you have 5 employees. So you're running it.
We have 3.
Okay,
3
3
plus
employees.
us. Yep.
Okay, 3 plus you, so 5.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
So, okay, so 5 people doing 300 grand. So look, you need to figure out how to get 5 people to do $1,250,000 to $2.5 million before you go add more people. Because what happens is it's called thin and wide. The new business owners go and start hiring a bunch of people and chasing revenue, and they grow wide, but very thin. So 60, 70, 80, 120, 150,000 of revenue per employee. And what happens is they break because it takes one very little thing. It's like a spaghetti noodle. It's very fragile and it can break. Or they go deep and narrow. So what happens is they get like one big contract and they hire a whole bunch of employees, and then that contract goes away.
Is that one like a lasagna noodle?
And that's like a thick lasagna. You can tell I'm hungry, right? I'm talking about food. So here's the thing. You want to grow a business with some girth. So you got to set your first target. So congratulations, you got 5 people. You did 300 grand. That's phenomenal. Now your target is, how do we get between 1.25 and 2.5 million for those 5 people? And the 2 of you need to start working with those 5 people, finding the different areas of business where they can leverage each other in order to multiply and amplify the sales impact. And you need to look at your pricing, and you need to look at your distribution, and you need to start spending time with them to understand. Because I always use this example in the hearing care space when we were managing and looking at 1,000 locations. we found that when we automated the process of engagement with the patient, we found that in one aspect of that business, if you said to a patient when you're going over their test results, this is where you have a problem. If everything else was the same and I said, this is where you have a problem, it converted 50% less than this is where you need help. The reason
Right.
I bring this up is Grant in the sales execution workshops teaches you how to use his verbiage that's consistent with Cardone U to teach you the algorithm of how to make a statement, ask a question, make a statement, ask a question, so that you can engage your clients and execute and convert at the highest level. You need to spend all your time perfecting that while you're small and you can control it. Some of you will have a sales function, one or two of you will have an administration function. You got to get that in sync, because to get bigger, you just now multiply that. So if it's one admin to two sales, then to get bigger, once you're at $750 to $1.5 million of revenue for those three, that pod, you just continue to do that exactly the same way until you get to between 8 and 15 million, and then it's a new game. But from 0 to 8 million, I'm sorry, from 0 to 15 million, there's only three things you have to master. The what you do has to work. You're proving the what you do works. Then the second thing you have to master is who you're doing it with. You need to accumulate people that will duplicate and replicate what you've proven works and hit that threshold of something greater of 250,000 of revenue per contribution, which means if you're the salesperson and you hire two admin people, so now there's three of you, they should make your impact more efficient to where you can generate 750,000 of sales. It isn't that each employee has to do it. So when you get that figured out, and it's easier to do it small, and the reason businesses break is they go thin and wide or deep and narrow, and then they get big and then they break fast. And remember, 2/3 of all businesses out of 31.5 million businesses, small to mid-sized businesses in the United States, 2/3 of them fail cyclically every 5 years. So you're talking about 23 million businesses, and those businesses range from 1 employee, 25 million of them, to 12 employees, which is 5.3, and then only 600,000 have more than 12 employees. So what that tells you is that in the process of trying to grow, they don't do the foundation right, they break, they go out of business, and then they have to start it all over, and they lose their confidence. So if you want to scale your business to 15 million, you need to come to a 10x 360, and you all need to learn the principles of growing and scaling. It'll be the biggest investment you've ever made into a 2-day program, and it'll be the thing that'll make you a multimillionaire, because you'll understand the principles of how to grow, scale, and create value, massive value in your business.
And Next 360 is on my vision board for this year. So
Yeah, that's
we'll
on the
see
goal
what
list.
comes.
Good for you guys. And you know what? In the interim, this is why we do this show, because you get bits and pieces and you just got to hang on. Look, this game of building anything is about resilience. It's about hanging on to that sheer cliff, knowing that you could fall and still having the resilience to keep going to get to the top and staying focused, because that's what building a business is all about. It's never going to be easy. It's going to be a painful experience. You're going to have letdown. You're going to have all sorts of horrible, crazy stuff. You're going to have people that are going to lie to you. You're going to have people that are going to let you down. You're going to have people that are going to steal from you. You're going to have clients that are going to tell you to piss off. All that is guaranteed. So embrace that, and then ask yourself, how do I still get better while I'm dealing with it?
Yep.
And don't lose your confidence or your resilience and your dedication to your goals.
Dynamite, pure
Thank
gold,
you.
man.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for being
guys.
on the show, guys.
Hey, what I'd like to do, because we just got a little bit of time left, Brandon, I want to hear you talk about People Essentials and what the bonus add-on is tonight, but a quick accountability check. I'd love for every one of you right now to take this little device, this phone that each one of you live in every single day. And I want you to do an Instagram, a Facebook, a LinkedIn, a photo, a video. And I want you to put your goals out there online. And I want you to tag Brandon M. Dawson on Instagram or Natalie Workman on Instagram.
Both of us. Put both our Instagrams. Tag us both. And I'll tell you what, anybody that tags us both, Natalie and I'll compare notes, and we'll do a little giveaway for somebody that made the best post.
Ooh, we do
Uh-oh.
good giveaways
Yeah,
too
we do.
around here.
Sometimes our giveaways are worth thousands of dollars, by
we
the
gave
way.
a People Essentials away. Maybe
right.
we'll do it again. And
Wow.
honestly, the reason that the last person won it was because they were first. So how quickly can
That's
you
right.
take action? Remember?
That's
It's like,
right.
How do you take an idea and put it into action?
So hey, Buck, this Kareem keeps asking, what if I have a question? Ask your question, Kareem. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Let's see how clear your question is.
Yeah, Kareem, what is your question? Let's see what it is.
Yeah, let's go. Kareem's got it. He's really wants to ask a question. Is he on here? Does he got? his
Yeah, he
hand
is.
up?
I
Is
just
he?
unmuted him. Kareem, you're gonna
Okay.
close us out tonight. What's your question, buddy?
First of all, I wanted to thank Mr. Brandon. I had a question. Speaking of the gym, I'm at the gym right now, but my goal is to become I'm in school to become a neurosurgeon. And one question that I had is that the average neurosurgeon makes about $1 million. I want to be obviously above the
Oh, you're muted.
You hit the mute button. I'll unmute you again. There you go.
What is your recommendation on doing that? I mean, if you're trying to, I'm setting a goal to make 70 million as a neurosurgeon, but the average only makes $1 million.
Yeah, well, the question is are you average? So if you read Grant's book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, why are you comparing yourself to average? So the only question you have to ask is which neurosurgeon became worth greater than $70 million? So you're asking the wrong question. I want everyone to understand that when you ask the wrong questions, you get the wrong results. The quality of your questions will always determine the quality of your results. So what you need to be asking, Kareem, is how many neurosurgeons have become worth between 50 and $100 million? What did they do? Reverse engineer that and be a better version of that. And most likely the neurosurgeons that are worth 100 million developed a new technique, or they developed a new technology, or they developed a big enough lab that they could hire hundreds of other neurosurgeons and become experts or build multiple facilities. Our friend built Cancer Center of America, turned it into a massive empire, sold it billions and billions of dollars. He's built hospitals. So look, dude, the question isn't how do I be better than the average? The question all of you need to ask is what's the best example of who I want to become and how did they do it? You don't need a lot of data. You need clear, concise, specific data that allows you to map your success to somebody else's result. And so this is exactly, Buck, you asked me, Kareem, great question. Buck, you asked me about People Essentials.
Yep.
The importance of People Essentials is, in fact, I watched a video from 2011 where I talked about profiling top performers and being able to replicate their results in the business. I've been on this quest now for 15 years.
It's a throwback video for sure.
It is a throwback video for sure. The reason I bring this up is because developing remarkable people, it's a 5-step process. Finding, attracting, aligning, developing, and retaining great people is what you need to know. So you don't need to know one thing. There's no such thing as hiring a unicorn. And if you do, they'll leave you because you won't be able to keep them stimulated. So here's the thing. If you're committed to massive growth in 2022, we've got a People Essentials this weekend. There isn't anything more important that you could be doing if you're truly committed about growth. Now, many of you have signed up for the People Essentials and you're like freaking out because you're like, wait a minute, I got a package. Is there never going to be another People Essentials? Of course, we're going to have a People Essentials. One of the mistakes we make that we assessed last year is we give you too many options. So we'll say, oh, we'll do something every 3 months. And then what happens is people defer, they deflect, they don't move on it. They wait till the next one and then they miss that one and go to the next one. So we're going to stop doing that. We're going to put out what programs we have going on in the next 90 days. And if you're committed and you're serious about blowing it up, you will find your way there. Now, with that said, we're not going to never have another People Essentials workshop.
You don't know that. I could get hit by a bus.
Well, good
I
news
could
is
die
this
in a
whole
plane
business isn't
crash.
built around you.
Well,
So,
but the People Essentials says my name on it, so it
if you
actually
get hit
is.
by a bus,
You asked.
then somebody else will step in and teach it.
Oh,
Because
boy.
that's what we
Point being,
teach is how
why
change a policy and then tell everyone you're changing the policy?
Well,
just
because
to
I don't
not
want
vote?
people freaking out that bought packages from us, because there'll be other, but look,
Is
but
anyone
we're
freaking out?
including 10X ladies or the boot camp ticket. In January, you have an opportunity.
I would love to watch you teach people essentials workshop.
I can teach you.
That
I
would
taught
be
you. I taught you.
I would love
Uh-oh.
to just watch
So-
that.
so-
Can we sub me out? Can I get sick on one of them and have you do it?
So good news
would
is
like
we
that?
have
Would you
Heather
like
and
to see-
Candace and a whole
Would
bunch
you
of
like to
people that
see
have been
him
working
teach
with me
people
for years.
essentials? I think that
Now, nobody will ever be able to be like the Natalie Dawson. No
That
one
is true.
ever.
That is true.
So I'm not saying we would be like the Natalie Dawson. I'm saying we'd find our way through it. But here's the point. Okay, because she is remarkable.
Okay, all right.
Remarkable.
The
I'm
backpedaling
sa-
doesn't work.
I'm
now.
saving the rest of my evening, by the way. Hint. So here's the thing. If you guys are serious about blowing your business up, you've got 3 major events in January. You've got coming to People Essentials so you can learn how to find, attract, align, develop, and retain great people. We teach you that. The second thing you have is a boot camp. And the third thing you have is 10X ladies. So there's 3 different things happening that can change, could be the catalyst to the rest of your life, but you have to choose to throw yourself in there. What we're saying is we're willing to sponsor you to go to the boot camp or 10X ladies. And if you're in business and you're working with your spouse, maybe you should pay an extra $1,000. And while you're going to People Essentials and the boot camp, if you're a guy, you send your wife to 10X ladies. If you're a lady owner, you send your guy to 10X ladies. Because 10X ladies isn't just about ladies. It's about how to have a 10X lady and be a 10X lady. And what I can tell you is that
How do you do that? I would like to know.
she's a
How do
better
you think you do
10X.
that?
She's a better 10X lady when I challenge her and I push her and I hold her accountable. I'm a better 10X ladies man when she does the same to
10X
me.
lady man. Is it ladies man?
I don't know. That'd be well. I have 3 daughters, so
This
so
is
I'm a
going-
Ladies
this is
man.
going
Ooh.
Downhill fast.
Hello,
One quick
ladies.
thing that I would like to make a note of, somebody in the comment was asking about like, what if I'm an innovator and what if I'm the first and there isn't anybody who's done what I've done? I've been reading this book. If you are interested in doing things that nobody's ever done before, I would suggest you read it. It's called Secrets of Sand Hill Road. It's all about venture capital, because how else, if you're really innovating in your space, the way that you get those ideas funded is through venture capital. And so if you're thinking of that, the chapter I was reading this morning, the first thing that venture capitalists are looking for are the people who would be running those businesses. So even if your idea is different and nobody has done that, and you are truly, and I mean truly innovating something, you still need to learn the skill set to present in the way that other people have had, like Pinterest or Facebook. What do their decks look like in order to get capital? Like those skill sets are still ubiquitous regardless of which industry you're in or if you're really trying to start something new. So I would still challenge.
Yeah,
somebody
look,
on that. It's
I'll
still people based.
I'll tell you 100% of what Natalie just said is that investors invest in people,
Right.
and they invest in the tenacity, and they invest in the ingenuity, and they invest in the commitment. But the one thing is, if you've never done anything and you think you're going to go raise money with anybody that's a professional, and it's never going to happen.
Mhm.
You need to develop your people skills. Cardone, you will teach you to do that. You need to understand how business works. You need to read. You need to come up with your concept, and you need to actually accomplish something that demonstrates your ability to accomplish something, because an investor is going to look at you and say, like, what have you actually done?
Totally.
And so investors invest in people before they invest in concepts. And the reason they understand that is because they understand that the what has to work, but at the end of the day, to create value, it's who and how.
Mhm.
And so even if your what's the greatest idea, if you're the wrong who and you've got the wrong how, and you demonstrate you don't know how to do how, no one's going to give you any serious money. We see this in 10X Incubator. I see it in 10X Pitch. We see it with businesses presenting to us for Cardone Equity Group to invest our private equity group or venture capital into them. We
That's
see.
actually why we won't partner with people until they show the commitment to show up to our events, because we know that if they aren't really committed to learning more and they don't have that curiosity, like sure, you could use our network to launch your business or to get an audience. But what we're really looking for is people who are so committed to growing themselves and learning. And those type of people differentiate themselves because they show up and they're curious. But we're not just partnering with people who randomly decide that they want to grow a business and are looking to leverage our expertise. That's just not how we choose to make investments.
But we are investing in all of you tonight.
Yes,
See, we are investing in you. We are here. This is a free show. We want to spend every single Tuesday night with you.
That's
We've got
right.
the Blend Master or whatever, Bucky Buck on the. I was trying to come up with a new DJ.
Oh
name
my
for you,
God,
and
I love it.
completely
I love
blew
it.
Blend Master.
I should-
Well, what
I'll be in charge of the
DJ
I'll
Buck,
take it.
whatever.
DJ
You got
Buck. Hey,
DJ
I
Buck.
should mention really quickly. There's a few new people. You are married and you work together. For anyone
that's
that
true.
yeah, there was
Oh,
a
yeah.
few assumptions there.
Oh,
You know,
that's a little awkward. Yeah, I would understand why that needs to be
Yeah, they're
clarified
married.
after his
Brandon
spicy
and
comment
Natalie
earlier.
Dawson. That's right. Married.
I am the luckiest man in the world.
You're
There's
right.
no question.
Hey,
And we
so-
love spending our time with all of you on Tuesday evenings. We look forward to kicking this year off right.
That's
We
right.
hope we have an opportunity to touch each and every one of your lives because you are touching ours just by being here. And we appreciate you.
So true. So my next question is, how many of you are going to make the commitment to be here every Tuesday this year in 2022? Every Tuesday night, can we do this together? Will you welcome us into your living room, your bedroom, your office, wherever you're at? We'd love to be a part of it with you. I love the commitment. Brandon always says this: we're never going to let money come between a relationship and helping you. And so I do want to put a QR code up real quick. If you're like, hey, I can't make it to Scottsdale this weekend. I don't know what stage of cycle of business I'm in right now, but I don't know if I'm ready for whatever the next element is, but you need help in your business and it's very specific. This is a QR code that you can scan and just schedule an appointment with our team. Just schedule an appointment and let's have a chat. Let's just make the connection. You don't have to buy something to have a relationship with us. We just want to connect and hear what it is that your business is going through and see where you can plug in. Brandon always says, stay plugged in. The last thing you want to do is drift off or get bad advice from somebody who's never done it before. So go ahead and take your phone, open up the camera, scan this QR code and set a quick appointment just to chat, talk with some of our business advisors and get more detail, more data on what is it that you need to break through that struggle that you're having early in your business in 2022. We want to get on the road with you and we want to break through those goals and we want to hold you accountable. We want to be partners with you. So that's the QR code. Everybody got it? I see Michael still scanning. Anybody else need time? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to turn it back over to Josh Dawson, who's going to answer more of your questions. Brandon and Natalie, thank you guys. So gracious for you guys to show up and spend time here every Tuesday. I know everyone appreciates it. And we'll see you next Tuesday right here on 10X Owners Live.
The whole purpose of this show is to engage with business owners and be able to answer questions for people that will give them some insight and perspective on how to grow and scale a business. Not only leadership, but real life examples. This is the golden moment. I would do business with you right now.
Hey, do yourself a big favor. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell. Bang it.